Hi everyone, how are you doing? This week my Twitter has been hacked, and last week my Facebook was hacked 3 times and I was blocked. And I've lost my Twitter ID. It has 26,000 followers and it's gone. And I was trending in Pakistan as number one for being something something weird was there. And Carla was asking. What's happening, and everybody, all of my non-Urdu speaking friends were asking what's happening, and I told them nothing is happening. It's just life. And Carla has been asking about what happened, and now things have cooled down a little bit. So I offered Carla to explain what happened. So Carla, what's your question?
Well, let's start. You were traveling in Sindh and you went to speak to a gentleman that everyone seems to be upset with you for speaking to. I truly don't understand that at all. So let's start when that happened and then we'll move forward.
Well, if you just
And
want to
why you went.
answer If you just want the answer to that question, this call will end in 2 minutes. And the answer is very, very simple. And the answer is that since there's riots going on in the United States, and half of the United States does not like Donald Trump right now, if I showed up and took a selfie with Donald Trump and posted it on my Facebook, hey, I met the president today. Can you just imagine what will happen? A lot of people who don't like Donald Trump will be very angry with me just for posting a selfie with me, and they will unfriend me. And if Donald Trump was somebody who was hurting their religion, they would also go ahead and start a campaign against me that because we believe that Donald Trump is um, hurting our religion, therefore, because you stood up with him, took a selfie with him, you are supporting him. That is why we are going to boycott you also. So that was basically what happened. And why did I went there? So for many years, I have been hearing that there is such a thing in Pakistan called forced conversion of Hindus into Muslims. And I did not know anything about it. Actually, one of the first people who I talked about it was Zafar Bhutto from Dallas last year and a half ago when I met him. And he explained to me another side of the story, which was totally different. And I was like, what? So, anyways, some of my Hindu friends and people from India asked me that I should find out why are these people doing forced conversion? Why are these people so, why is anybody allowing this forced conversion to happen? And every 6 months, you would see on social media, on regular TV, that a lot of people are protesting about this forced conversion, and there's stuff going on, but nobody was able to explain to me ever what's exactly happening. And then Abdul Fattah Sumro told me that because he's from Sindh and he knew about it and he likes politics, and he told me that there's some guy called Mian Mittha. Mittha means sugar. So the name would be Mia means sir, kind of sir, and Mittha means sugar. So Sir Sugar, you can call him Mr. Sugar. And I found him and he said, oh, I don't want to meet him also because he's such a bad guy. I said, really? You don't want to interview him? He said, no, I don't want to interview him even. And Fateh was a very cool headed person. And if he said that I don't want to meet him or interview him or something like that, that meant that there was something going on. Anyways, I was not interested in meeting him, but I was I just asked a few people, what's going on? Who do you know this guy? And one of my friends who I know, a political figure, he said, I know the guy and he's a very nice guy. I said, well, if he's a very nice guy, then why is everybody so angry with him? He said, well, you don't know politics. It's very complicated. I said, okay, well, I don't know politics. And if it's complicated, it's complicated. What can I do? But he said, if you want to go and meet him, we will go and see him and we will stay at his place and he will be very happy. I was like, really? I don't want to go really and stay at his place. It sounds scary because of a person who's forcing Hindus into Muslims. I really don't want to be hanging around with this guy. Anyways, so I got his number, messaged him a few times, called him up, and last year I was going through his town and with my family, and somebody told me that his house is right here. Do you want to go and see his house? Maybe he's at home. So we just popped into his house, and he wasn't there, but his son was there, and we met him. I exchanged phone numbers. We sat, took selfie, took his number, just connected with him. And then I started connecting with his family. So I connected with Bilal, who was his grandson. You also talked with him.
Oh,
And I've been connected to him for like a year now, or 8 months maybe. So this year, when I was passing by with Aliki, I messaged a person in that city and his son that I'm passing by again. Can I see your father? And I told Aliki, we might be seeing this guy who's doing forced conversion. Would you like to stay at his house? And she said, no, I'm not going to stay at his house. Doesn't sound like a good person. And um, we went there, and before going to his house, we went to a mandir, the largest temple. Mandir is a temple,
yeah.
the largest Hindu temple in Pakistan. It apparently was. So we went there, and they told me some stories about him, his father, and I was like, really? And I asked him, what if I bring this guy to your mandir? Would you like that? Would you allow that? He said, he will never come. He said, well, what if I did? Would it be okay with you? He said, sure. And he was confused. It's like he couldn't believe that I can even say such a thing, that he can bring uh, this guy there, because the allegation is that his father, Mian Mittha's father, killed the guru of that temple.
Hmm.
So, and they live like less than a mile away from each other. So, anyway, so I went to Mian Mittha 5 p.m. When I was going, I did not know what to expect. The gentleman who was taking me there said he's a very honest guy. He just says what he thinks. He just says from his heart everything. So don't worry about him too much. I just sat with him and he just looked at me. So you want to interview me? I said sure. So I started interviewing him. I put up my camera, mobile phone. So who are you? I just asked him, who are you? What do you do? So he started telling me story after story after story after story. It's like an hour long, and I just listen. It's just that's what I did, and I don't know. Somebody's upset again. Anyways, so I just interviewed the guy, and then I posted a selfie with me that it turned out that this guy who was named as Devil is very interesting man, and hundreds of comments came on that. Getting upset. And nobody was really upset, like dangerously upset, but people were upset. And then when I came back to Karachi after 2 weeks, I actually when I was there, Aliki asked that I want to meet the girls, and he said I want to meet some of the girls who have been converted, and the and the girls came, and again I just pointed the camera on them, just asked them. Aliki was asking questions, I was asking questions, I was trying to translate as the best I could to Aliki. And then I asked the girls, "Do you have a smartphone so we can call you, WhatsApp you? Because I would like other people to interview you, not just me." And this all was happening just organically. I didn't plan anything. I did not know what was happening. It was just happening one thing after another. Anyway, so I promised. I asked the girls they had smartphone. They said no. I looked at Mian Mittha and asked him, "Is it okay if I can gift them a smartphone so that they can have a Facebook, they can talk to people?" And you know what I do? I just my job is to have people to talk to each other. So he said, "I don't mind." And I said, "Okay." So then I got the phones to one of the guys, and he refused to give those girls the phone. He said, "If I give the phone, the people will be very upset." I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I asked Bilal to ask his grandfather to give the phones to the girls, take a photo, and send me. Now I send the phones to I post that photo. It was Eid, so I just said, okay, well, these girls got Eid from me through Mian Mittha, and that's what exploded everything. Some people thought that I was rewarding the girls to become Muslims. Some people thought I don't know what people thought, to be honest, because they never expressed what they were thinking. They were just angry. And just like I gave you the example of Donald Trump, it's similar situation which makes people so angry that they're unable to have a conversation. Um, that's basically what happened.
But that type of anger doesn't do anything for anyone. Talking will help. So,
Well, I, so people were upset. I think another, like for example, this gentleman is again angry. It seems like he's again angry, and he's typing stuff. But you see, I didn't go to meet the girls. I didn't go to meet. I just went to inquire what's happening, and um, I just wanted to create a bonding between the guy so I can actually ask him the real question. I can't just show up at Carla's house. Carla, why are you a Jew? Why were you born a Jew? You know, I
right.
can't do that. So I wanted to build enough rapport so I can ask him what's happening, what's really happening. He doesn't trust me. He just meets me. Why would he say anything which is controversial? And I didn't want to ask him anything controversial. That's not my who I am. I just recorded an interview. It's not my job to inquire if he's guilty or not. It's the police's job. It's the court's job. My interest was to make enough pathways for people to have a conversation with him. I don't know how many people actually had a conversation with him. They were all upset. And we even asked this question. Aliki even asked this question. I don't know if you saw that you get a lot of hatred from people. How do you feel about that? People don't even ask you questions. They just hate you. And then he said, well, I do it for him and I'm happy. But he never said he converts anyone. He even said that if I would love to see some proof of what you're saying. He kept saying that over and over. Please bring me some proof. How am I guilty? What have I done? If a girl comes to my door and says, please convert me because I want to get married to this boy, what should I do? Should I turn her away? If she is legally able to get married, what should I do? Just like Sanjay, who you were watching earlier, does exactly the same thing. If a girl and a boy comes to him and says, protect me, I am in love with this person, I want to get married, so he helps them. And this guy is the the same, doing exactly the same in Pakistan. But the challenge is that in Pakistan you cannot become from Hindu to Muslim. I'm sorry, Muslim to Hindu. So it's a bi-directional law. You cannot become by law um, from Muslim to Hindu. So people are very upset that they're losing majority. I think it's more of a political issue that the Hindu majority, well, there was never a majority, but the Hindu population is decreasing, And I don't want that to happen. I don't want Hindus to become less. I would love for it to become more, actually, because we don't have diversity enough, like in the US or most of the world, you have diversity. And we don't have enough diversity. So we keep on fighting among each other, ourselves. If we're not open to new ideas because we don't see new ideas around us. That's why I do all I do. I try to build connections so that you can actually ask questions, not get upset with these people.
I still don't get it. Why? And I've asked you this before. Why are they so upset? It's a
I try,
conversation. It's nothing else. You're not converting anyone.
but people thought I am converting. I still have messages from people. Even day before, I got a message. You blah 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 mother something, and why are you force converting Hindu girls into Muslim? I'm not doing anything. But people now have started to think that I am also doing the same thing. And what can I say? It's just ignorance.
And that's like the ignorance happening in my country right now.
Right.
They're just going out and yelling and screaming and killing people, and none of it makes sense. You and I talked about this once before.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
This
You,
reminds me, I should start posting videos of Daryl Davis. I have his interviews. I don't know where they are, but they're amazing. He's doing the same stuff which I do. Go and meet his enemy. Um, it's just lovely.
I'm hoping that I'm going to get to speak to Daryl.
Yeah.
Spoke to him on WhatsApp, but I'm working on getting a conversation with him because of that. You know, I just explain to me, and I'm sure there isn't really an explanation. Why is there so much discrimination? Why is there so much disagreement just because someone talks to someone who is different from them? We're not all like.
Allegation. I just explained to you. It's because of the allegations on him that he is doing forced conversion, and because he is the so-called devil, which everybody knows. Everybody knows through how? Through media, through newspapers, through Facebook. Nobody has ever met him. Those people who are allegation, or even they have met him, they wouldn't ask questions. My interest was to ask questions. I have asked so many people to ask questions, right? Two people asked me that I want to come live with you, and I told them, come interview me, no problem. And they backed out. They were Hindus, and they were like, oh, somebody will come and kill us. A Pakistani Muslim woman who was very upset with me. She's a human rights activist. She was like, no, I can't talk to him. He's very, very bad man. And her job is to build peace. She's a peace builder. So, and then there's another girl who recently got awarded in Washington as a peace activist, and she refused that I would not. How dare you met her? So that's something which maybe you can ask them. Um, I don't know why they're upset. Maybe they can give a better point of view, but I can understand their narrative. I can understand that all your life you have hated something. How would you just offer love or offer even a conversation with this person? He's just a bad person.
But how can we hate someone we don't know?
We hate devil. We hate a lot of sinners. We hate the country of Pakistan. Majority of the time hates Prime Minister of India. Everybody hates him. If I posted a photo with him and saying I had a meeting with him, it went great. A lot of people will start hating me just for having a conversation. It's the belief system. It's a bias. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just that, like for example, if you never ate pork in your life, if somebody fed you pork, what will happen to you? My mother ate pork once by mistake, and she went to the toilet and she just vomited everything. She couldn't handle it. It was already inside, right? But that's how you handle bias. Once I was with a gentleman, and he told me something about Prophet Muhammad, and he questioned my belief, and I started shaking, and I actually almost fall down on the floor just by asking a question. He just asked me a question, and I couldn't handle the question. I was like, I'm going to fall down. Another guy did the same thing to me in California. He just asked me a question. He actually made a statement, and I couldn't handle it. I almost fainted in his house. So questions are very interesting, and questions are anything which is against our belief system is very challenging. And I have worked very, very hard to get those biases out of me. And I'm sure there are some biases still inside me, which I have. But my job is to get them out as much as I can.
Well, I think that's the job of everyone, but I guess I don't understand hate. I can understand being indifferent about something, but hating someone just for talking to someone, that there's nothing that makes sense in that. Explain it. I know you feel you would explain it, but I'm trying to get wrap my head around it so I understand what you're saying. Um,
I also didn't understand it, and I'm telling you that the only thing which makes sense to me is that it doesn't really make sense to me. But what it does mean is um, it's the bias. It's just that people who hate something just hate something because they hate it. It's what they know all their life.
okay, Rayhan, we have a new generation of kids growing. How can we teach them not to hate just because our parents don't like a black person or they don't like people from Pakistan because they heard all kinds of rumors? How can we change that?
You and I are doing the work, one person at a time. I don't know anything faster. If we had $1 billion, maybe we can go on CNN and say, "Hey, I don't hate me," maybe sing a song. That's what you do. Have you seen that song by the Israeli Prime Minister Shimon? Add me on
No,
Facebook.
no, tell me about it. No, I did not see it.
Okay, let me play the song. It's such a wonderful song. I even copied the song. Why isn't it coming? Yes, Shimon Israel. It's a song where he's saying that you have to connect, right? So once you connect, then it's okay. It's a it's a very interesting song. Let me share it with you.
Be my friend for peace. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend for peace. Speak up and change the world. Be my friend for peace. I want to hear your voice. friend, selfie. Pick up and the call of our prophet to seek peace. We need peace among the people. Not just among the hunters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be my friend or peace. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend, selfie. Pick up and we used to believe that the people of the book. Now they can the people of the Facebook. Welcome to my Facebook page. Add me as a friend. My Facebook friend. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend. Selfie. Pick up and enjoy. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend. Selfie. Pick up and enjoy. I call upon you not just to guess what the tomorrow will look like, but to pave the way for each life. Peace is needed for your future. For your future. For your future. Thank you from the depth of my heart.
So if we had presidents like that, imagine what the world can look like, right?
Right.
So unfortunately, he died, and I wanted to go to Israel just because of him. I wanted to see him, and so here's my Facebook song. I copied his song. I don't know if you've seen it.
Look, sorry, I know you were just about to watch another YouTube video. Before you go, I've got a quick, important message for you. I noticed you came over to our website.
Be my friend for peace. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend for peace. Pick up and enjoy. Be my friend for peace. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend for peace. Pick up and enjoy.
World will initially ignore you, then they will laugh at you, then they will stop you, then you will win.
So this is also me. How can we believe that she made? Yes, thank you.
The people you know, the experiences you have, that told me you're legit, I guess, is the way to put it, right? Interesting guy with an interesting family. You're,
I want to hear your voice. Be my friend, selfie. Pick up and enjoy. Now we can the people of the Facebook. Much better. Welcome to my Facebook page. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Be my friend for peace. I want to hear your voice. Be my friend, selfie. Pick up and enjoy.
The world wants to know what's happening in your country. The world wants to know who are you.
Great pleasure. Very interesting. Thank you very much. But to pave the way for each life, peace is needed for your future. For your future. For your future. Thank you from the depth of my heart.
So somebody is asking,
The results strongly support that these.
I'm not talking about forced conversion. Um, that's not my topic. It's not my subject. I just went to see a guy, and you can call him, you can ask him yourself, whatever you want to ask him. That's what I went for. I want to build trust with him. I went to get his number so everybody can contact him. Everybody can interview him. You can interview his son, Carla. Um, he's interested in talking. His father doesn't speak English very well, and he's 85 years old. And they're just, I think there's a challenge. They're scared for him to go on live or whatever. So that's why he is not coming.
But
So, do you have any more questions?
I I have a question.
Kumar is asking, do you ever verify their identity and age before interviewing them? That's not my job. I just interviewed a person. It was 10:30 p.m. at night in Ramadan, and you can have their number and call them and verify them and ask them if they're old enough to get married or not. That's police's job, not my job. I just interviewed them, just like if I met you at a tea shop or somewhere. How I don't ask how old you are. Anyway, so you can ask me, Carla, what you want. Manoj is upset, and I invite all of those people who are upset to come forward and have a conversation about it, not get upset about it.
And
Why only? Hmm?
And I agree with that. If it upsets you, you need to find out what really is happening. And that's what you did. You asked questions. That
Right.
doesn't mean you agree with everything the person says. It only means you had a question. And
Um, the thing is, Manoj is asking why are they marrying them. So, Manoj, the story I was told, and you can watch the video yourself and you can translate it any way you want, is that the girls said, we were not forced and we fall in love with these guys. And we wanted to marry them because they're Muslim. And the bottom line is, remember, everyone who's watching, and Carla, you also know that. The bottom line is poverty and ignorance. The bottom line is not that they were Hindu or Muslim. It's the ego. It's their ego which is being hurt. People here kill people because they intermarry between religion, intermarry between Sunnis and Shias. Um, we have a colleague which you can talk to. I don't want to name him. He's having trouble getting married right now because he is Sunni and his wife to be is Shia, and she has converted into Sunnism. Still, they're very upset that their family is Shia. So it's just the belief system. It's the bias which is inside us, and we cannot accept the change because we're not used to that. And that is what I am doing. I'm trying to expose people to different people so that they have less bias inside them and curiosity to learn. Um, and it's just something we don't have in our country in majority. Even in your country right now, it shows that it lacks everywhere, to be honest, right now.
it's not just the United States, it's the whole world.
Right. And because we have grown so much and we live in our own bubble comfortably, that's it. So, Carla, he says that they were 14 or 15 years old when they got married. And Manoj is saying that because probably he was there and he met her and he knew her, but which is sarcastically speaking, but I don't think Manoj has met them directly. And if they were, it's their problem and he should file a court case. If it's illegal to do, don't accuse me, accuse the police. Why are you upset with me? Get upset with the police system, not me. I mean,
It's like the reporter going out, you know, doing a story, That doesn't mean the reporter is going to turn Muslim or going to turn anything. He's just telling the story. I, go and okay, if you met family,
That's amazing. Manoj has met their families. Manoj, can you inbox me their birth certificate and their families' numbers? I've been asking everybody since this whole thing broke up that please send me their families' numbers so I can interview their families next time I pass by. And any other families whose daughters have been forcibly converted, please send me their numbers. I would love to get interviewed every single person. 500, 5,000, 500,000, everyone. I will get them interviewed. I even promise that I can even make a support group so that we can help them become an entrepreneur. We can help them start a small factory, small business, anything we can do to help them. I will be very happy. I have not received a single number of a single family. How can I help them? How can I help somebody I don't know? How can I talk to somebody I don't have a number for? And I don't know what they want me to do.
I don't know either. It doesn't, none of this makes sense. And the problem is, this is the problem in the world. People are making decisions without knowing the whole story.
Anyways, there's a lot of cultural context to everything. What is normal, what is not normal. A friend of mine came to our house last year, and when she came, we gave her some clothes. Just like when Aliki came, we said, Aliki, it's better if you wear these certain clothes in our country. Nobody would bother you if you do that. And Aliki, I told her before, and she had no problem whatsoever in covering her face and wearing a burqa or anything like that. She even wore a burqa while we were driving. And Aliki had no problem. But my other friend, um, who we gave clothes, she got so upset. Um, she really um, got offended. Felt like she said she felt like she felt like a walking vagina in our country because everybody was like, it was like so how people stare at her or how it's just normal because if you're just not used to certain things and whenever somebody from outside the culture comes, um, it's just different and you have to adapt to the culture. It's like if I go to the US, I should adapt to the culture over there. It's just not possible to do certain things over there. So certain things are just different, right? So um, it's just different. And just like when I said the V word, you got really shocked and you have a bias against it. That why am I saying this word? It's just an organ of our human body, but we can't say it. It's just so. How can you say that in public?
I was surprised to hear you say it, but again, it's just a word. I agree with you on it.
Thank you so much, Manoj. Please send me your number also. Please WhatsApp your number to me. My number is 0300 202 9425. You're more than welcome to send me your number and photos and whatever you have and whoever you want me to interview. I would be very happy to interview anyone, any affected family, any side of the family, anyone. I don't really mind getting interviewed anyone as long as they're willing to talk. If they're not willing to talk, we have people who are interviewing people. If they're not willing to talk to me, they can talk to Carla. She's in Washington D.C. So there are lots of people we can arrange for them to have a conversation with. But don't talk to me about them. I don't know them. I'm not an investigative reporter going and finding the truth and then I get killed for just doing that. Get police help. That's their job. And if they're not doing the job, learn from the United States what they're doing for police.
But that's the whole point. Everyone's angry, but no one's talking to each other. They're just shouting at each other. And that needs to stop. Let's get some conversation. If you want to know something, you ask. I mean, I was brought up that way. It gets me into trouble. It gets me into trouble with you sometimes, but you ask a question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manoj. You sent me the birth certificate. Can you please send me your number and the numbers of these parents? Because I can't really interview a birth certificate. I can interview the person, but I can't find their mobile number to interview them. Please send me their number so I can interview them. I have tried to meet those conversations individually. We have tried now giving them smartphones. The idea was to give them smartphone, slowly bring them on Facebook, WhatsApp, and now they're not coming online. We got their Facebook IDs made. They're not very educated. The one husband is a tractor driver. Another one is just a laborer, and they don't want them to talk, and the husbands don't want to talk also. So, as I told you, first you have to build rapport. A poor person who's making $100 a month doesn't want to lose that $100 a month. You have to give him some kind of protection for him to give an interview. So you have to build some kind of trust. He met me for 30 minutes in Mian Mittha's house. He wouldn't trust me. I gave him a phone to build trust, to build rapport. Now I call him once, every few weeks, so that we can build rapport. And once he trusts me, we will try to have a conversation. But I can't do much. Get police help. That's their job. Get a lawyer. Get their job. I will help in any way I can. Anyway, so I think you have an understanding of what happened. If you have any questions, please. Anything else you want to ask, or I will go.
Well, I had a question, a business question that I wanted to talk to you about, but not online.
Okay. Thank you, Carla, for asking these questions. And thank you, everybody else, for watching. Please share the video with anyone who might be interested in finding my truth. Everybody has a different truth. And you're more than welcome to explore the truth, because it's very interesting to find out what the truth is.
And ask questions.
Yeah. Khwaja Junaid has a very nice question. How can we don't want to discuss our taboos, so how can we change or even improve our society? By asking questions. Ask the questions which you think are taboos and do something about it. Speak up and change the world, as Mr. Perez said in his video. So, yep. Thank you so much, Carla, for this, and thank you everybody for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.